All right. Well, Geoff, thanks for coming with us, joining us today, and I'm gonna restart.
Thanks for coming with
Yeah.
Whoa!
So that's the kind of yeah. I meant to say like joining us today, and I said all over everybody.
Thanks for coming on us.
Well, Geoff, thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely.
We are in sunny Lynchburg, Virginia. A little bit cold outside today, but we're near mid-March, and we're here at the Water Dog in downtown Lynchburg, and a part of this interview series is really trying to figure out the habits and best practices of those people in the community that are really getting things done. And we've interviewed a number of people throughout this series, and one person's name who keeps coming up is yours. And so as a part of this, I really want to get you in here, and I know you've been in here before, but sit you down and really dig into what makes you tick and what are some of the things that you're excited about as you think about the future of Lynchburg, and certainly the things that allow you to operate at such a high level. And the reason why we think it's a good idea to do these things in-house and here at the Water Dog is because part of what we're trying to do as a brand is find the people that know how to intermingle the place between work and play, where there really is no difference. And for the brand, like the Water Dog itself, that's something that we sort of think that we can find people in the community that kind of emulate that. And like I said, your name keeps coming up.
Oh, wow. I'm really honored by that. That's
well,
awesome. You guys are killing it here too. This is amazing.
I appreciate you saying that.
This is awesome.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And before we dig into who you are, I just want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
You have a new member
to
the family.
I do.
Do you want to give a...
Yeah, his name is Theo, and actually Theo's going to be coming here after
Nice,
after
Theo.
I do this. Yeah, this is actually going to be Theo's first restaurant visit. Is going to be the Water Dog.
Very cool.
So he's coming here. He's a week and a half old, and we're very happy.
Well, congratulations. So, leading in then, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and how you got to, and what you're doing today, and maybe how you got to where you are.
So I'm the executive director at the Academy Center of the Arts, which is our art center here in Lynchburg, and is downtown here in Lynchburg as well. And I got here because I grew up here, and so Dave and I used to play soccer together back in the day.
Back in the day.
When we were in high school, and so I grew up here. I grew up in Amherst County, and and this place is a big part of who I am. I think growing up in the mountains of Virginia had a big influence on me. But when I was growing up here, I wanted to get out. Really, I think it was important to get out before I could kind of come back. And I wanted to go to school in an urban area, so I went to an art school in downtown Philadelphia, and I moved to Philly. And I lived in Philly for 7 years. And while I was there, I went there to train as an actor. But while I was doing that, I decided that what I wanted to do was actually run and start a theater company. So I did that, and I ran that in Philly for a while, which was a great experience. I had no idea what the hell I was doing, but I learned a ton from it. It was cool though too. Like our theater was actually in the same building as the Roots OK Player studios, and so it was actually really amazing. They were 2 floors up from us. So I would get in the elevator, and it would be like Questlove or Mos Def and Salute Quali, and these guys would just be sort of there doing their stuff.
Typical Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty awesome thing.
Excuse me, Quest.
Yeah.
I mean, they had no idea. I mean, they totally are ignoring me, but it was pretty cool. And but anyway, while I was running that theater company, I sort of made a decision that I needed to know more as an artist, and I really was there as a director. So I decided to go to get my graduate degree in directing, and so I went to Florida State University to do that. And so I moved from Philly to Tallahassee, which was a total culture shock and shift. But Tallahassee actually was part of my road back here, honestly, because Tallahassee has some qualities that really remind me of Lynchburg. There's some differences as well, but it is a southern regional city that has educational institutions that it's sort of built around. And I think while I was there doing theater, it kind of opened my eyes that I didn't need to be in a major city or in a major market to do theater. I could be, I could be in a place like that.
You were a gentleman.
Thank you. And so I started another theater company out of there. It was called End Station, and we were looking for a home. There's a whole bunch of Florida State graduates, and we zeroed in that we had some free space available to us at Sweet Park College in Amherst, Virginia, and we could do some work up there. So we started spending our summers here, producing summer theater, and did that. Well, for about 8 years, but my wife and I lived in Florida off and on. We lived in Daytona for a few years, and we would kind of travel back and forth. And as I was doing that, I found that I really loved arts administration. I found that facilitating art activity and all that comes with it, even the stuff that a lot of people don't like, even the raising money and all of that facilitation, I actually found that I enjoyed it, which surprised me, but I did. And so fast forward, the Academy has been forever. I mean, even when we were kids, they were trying to raise money to restore this historic theater up on Main Street, and they have reached really kind of a critical point, really where they had to get it done now or it wasn't going to happen. A whole bunch of really incredible community leaders stepped in around that time. We had moved back. I was teaching at Lynchburg College full time. And I've got a job offer to come in and take the reins there.
What year was this?
I've been there for May it'll be 2 years.
So this is right when downtown is really starting to...
Yeah, and it felt like a time it felt right, like it felt like the right time. So got to the Academy, and really lucky too that George Dawson, major community leader, former CEO of Centra, was running our capital campaign. And some incredible board leadership, and raised the money to restore the historic theater. But that, the historic theater is not. It really was about bringing the organization back, because we really needed to have a healthy arts center that was operating currently to make the new theater something viable.
And that seems like such a massive undertaking. I mean,
it is. I mean, it's a lot, but very achievable too. This isn't something that our community can do this. It can support it. Absolutely, it's very achievable.
Yeah. So what does in that light? What does serving our community through arts and culture? What does that mean to you?
Well, the arts are a tool. Is the way that I always like to look at it. So we have. All kinds of issues within a community at any given point. If we look here in Lynchburg, we have healthcare issues, we have poverty issues, we have the desire to develop a downtown. The arts can be a tool for really any of these things. It's really about how you use it. And so for us, it's about sort of trying to figure out what are our community needs right now, and how can the arts participate in that. And so we really talk about ourselves as a service organization first and foremost, and that's been really important, I think, to galvanizing an identity and also, galvanizing fundraising, to be honest, too. That when we really sort of talk about it as something that is a tool that is moving towards larger goals, that's helpful.
So as a part of all that, obviously you're a busy man. You got a lot of things going on in your personal life as well as your professional life. But, in order to operate at a high level, you got to keep it all together. So I want to dig in a little bit on how you, Jeffrey Kershner, keep it all together, right? Okay. And so tell me a little bit about how your typical day starts.
So I usually wake up about 5:15, 5:30 or so.
Alarm or no alarm?
There's an alarm, and I tend to...
How many?
It's usually I'll get up on the first shot, but occasionally there'll be a snooze. It just sort of depends how the previous day has been. I get up, I brew a cup of coffee.
Folgers, Maxwell House,
Cafe
Starbucks.
Bustelo.
Okay, yep.
That's what I have. And I hit the gym. And we live in Diamond Hill. So I walk to the downtown Y, which is one of the things I love about being downtown.
Yeah.
I can just walk there. So I walk to the gym every morning, and there's a cast of characters there. We're all there, around that 6 a.m. time slot, and you say hello to everybody. And
what up, Most Def? What up, everybody?
Yeah. What's up, guys?
Yeah, and I do about 30 minutes of cardio and then about 20 minutes of weight training, and that's an average day. And then I get back, I shower. I usually throw breakfast together because I usually eat it at work. I usually very often eat at my desk.
So do you from a breakfast perspective, is it like eggs and toast, or is it like cereal? What do you got?
It varies. If I'm in a rush, I stop at Cafe Bliss on the way in, and I get one of their brioches. Although that sometimes, as I get a little older, is not maybe the best thing for my weight. But if I'm in a rush, I do that. If I have time at home, I'll sometimes fry up some eggs and maybe throw in a tortilla shell.
You're egg man right here.
You know,
Dude.
hey.
I eat so many eggs, it's ridiculous.
Well, and here at the community market,
Right.
we'll get the market eggs, and Ash is a big, obviously downtown's a big part of her life, so we always have fresh eggs there.
You started your morning off right. You've made it to the gym.
He approves.
I approve.
Yeah, started right.
Approved. So you head into work. What's the workspace like?
My workspace, actually, I've actually been struggling with my office, and this is actually maybe a good sort of maybe metaphor.
Jeff might need some help here, guys. So anybody listening who knows,
I do.
Feng Shui.
Yeah. It might be an examination of sort of a metaphor for what's going on with the organization a little bit. So I inherited this office that is old school. So number one, the Academy's offices used to be the gas, we call it the gas building because it used to be the gas company for the city used to be in there.
Yeah.
And so this is like this old school office with like wood paneled walls, this massive wooden desk, like old school wooden desk. And there's a conference table in there in my office too. And when I first got in there, because we're a small nonprofit organization with with a smaller number of staff, I was like, I'm not gonna get anybody to pick up this giant desk and move it out of here for me. But at the same time, it's not me. So I set up a standing desk setup on it so that I kind of am...
Old school meets new school.
Yes, old school meets new school. I tried to cover the walls in things that will sort of take me out of what that is. So like I have a couple Banksy prints that are on the wall.
Christmas wrapping paper, whatever you can do to get rid of those walls. Yeah.
But anyway, I have stuff on the walls, and artists that I respect and care about, and things that are more reflective of me.
What's the one gadget or gizmo or a thing that you, besides maybe your phone, that you just sort of can't live without? Like, what's your go-to technological tool?
I mean, definitely. I mean, the phone's a big thing. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll say my earphones. I mean, I think I listen to stuff a lot. I listen to tons of podcasts. I listen to music a lot. I even listen to stuff when I go to sleep. So probably, those headphones are probably.
And they're the Bose noise canceling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good deal. I could use those when Jordy is no. All right, so getting into the life hack realm, do you have any time-saving hacks, life hacks, any tricks or tips that kind of help you operate more effectively?
Yeah, I have a rule, and some of this I think is it keeps me from getting overly anxious, and there's probably good and bad with this, but I have a rule that as soon as I open any kind of message, email, whatever, if it's coming through something else, I answer immediately. I feel that if I don't do that, then stuff starts to stack up on me, and then I get buried and I can't get out.
Yeah.
And even if my reply is a kicking the can down the road, what will happen is inevitably then they will get back to me, and I will then be able to.
Right.
So that's always my rule is I don't ever open something and not answer it immediately. So I will even set up situations where I will not check my email.
That's right.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
If I don't have time, I don't check it.
Yeah, I think you have to time bound it, and it feels like the mornings are really good for being effective with email, or communicating in
when
general.
Everybody's not bombing you. It's your time to reply type.
I mean it just sucks that email is the major form of communications for most businesses. I mean there are startups like Slack or whatever that are really like, I think, making some strides in this space, but even they're struggling.
Yeah.
So it just sucks that email is the thing that changes you to your desk in order for you to feel productive. Are you a hunter or are you a gatherer?
Man. That is a great question. I think I wish I was a hunter, but I'm probably a gatherer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aspires.
I think it's one of those things where, I like the idea of being a hunter, but I think that I think I'm good at that. I can kind of look at the environment around me and try to use what is available to me.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to cram a wooden block into a circle. I think it's so I would sort of say that kind of, So I think that's kind of in the gathering realm.
Yeah.
I think I'm looking for what we have as opposed to going after something that's not.
What part of you wishes that you were a hunter? So to
It just
speak?
sounds badass.
It does sound.
Dude,
pretty
I was
bad.
about to say, that's the thing is I feel like people a lot of the time, even I do, want to be like, hunter. Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah. It's not even a question.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Look at his beard.
Yeah.
Is that not Scream paleo or what?
I want like a crossbow, like be out, like I bet, that's not. I'm totally like got berries and stuff. And I'm like, ooh, look. Yeah.
So, what is the one kind of everyday thing that you're good at or better at than everybody else?
I mean, I'm sure there are people better at this than me, but I do think because I come from a theater background, one of the things that we're taught in theater is that it's a collaborative form. So you really are a piece of a larger puzzle. And so for me, what it's always about is collaboration. So for me, I think I'm always looking for partnerships. I'm always looking for where can we come together to create something. And interestingly enough, the Academy, we're always in our sweet spot when we're working with somebody else. We fall kind of flat when we try to just do something on our own.
What do you do to recharge, whether it's work related or home related? Like, what do you do to kind of like reset? Whether it's day to day or on the weekends, or
I love a good hike. So, growing up in Amherst County, Mount Pleasant is always one of my kind of go-to hikes, and it's also I think it's symbolic for me too. I think like a really good long hike, like if you looked at it from how the crow flies. You'd be like, no way in hell. It's like, I'm not doing that.
Detoxing from everything around.
Yeah, but when you're on the mountain, right? You just are sort of in the moment. You take one step at a time, and eventually you get to the top, right? But if you step back and look at the whole thing, it's really overwhelming.
Right.
So, but I think that sort of walk in the woods, that kind of peacefulness, the getting back to nature, that's like really key.
it's a bit cleansing for you. And do you go by yourself? Is it like a thing? Or?
Sometimes it's by myself, sometimes it's social. I think inevitably, though, when you do a hike with a group of people, you end up kind of, even in moments on a long hike, by yourself.
Yeah, in your own little headspace.
Yeah.
It's your own form of meditation, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very cool. Well, with that said, then, bringing it back to the Berg, what are some of the things you like to do here in the city, or like some of the places you like to visit, or again to break away, or to I don't know, just kind of even if it's related to.
I was about to say water.
No. But even if it's related to work, like even in my old world, like I would just go to Starbucks, even though like it was a big city, and here I'd go to the White Hart. But like, what do you do to kind of break out?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not just saying this. Like, we really do love coming here. We watch the Super Bowl here. This is like a great spot. I love the trail system here. The trails are a great sort of way to engage with the city, but also get out too. We really have a fantastic trail system here. And I think it's something. We were talking about people visiting the city earlier and coming in. Like, that's one of those things that is so cool about this city. Is that trail system.
So what are the top three? Let's call it this. What are the top three like podcasts and let's say albums that we'd find in your ear these days?
Yeah. So podcasts.
Or stations.
Yeah. So podcasts. I love This American Life is one of my favorite podcasts. Radio Lab is another podcast that I really love.
Real quick, maybe we'll talk about it in a minute, but you got something going on there.
We do. We're bringing Jad Alpenrod, who is the host of Radio Lab, is actually coming into the Academy on April 8th. So
That's phenomenal.
So there's a connection point there, right?
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
so he's coming, and so I love those. I mean, those are two. And I met Ira Glass in an airport in Seattle, who does This American Life.
Total fanboy.
Totally. Well,
In
Ashley.
an elevator.
Yeah.
Everything's in an elevator, man.
Yeah, that's it. So Ashley freaks out. She's like, I want to talk to him, but I can't talk to him, and I was like, well, I'm gonna, we'll see maybe if there's an opportunity. So we wandered over to get breakfast, and he was in front of me in line at breakfast. So I was standing there, I was like, hey, I just want to let you know, like,
Coincidentally, you guys made it
just
to the
coincidentally,
same breakfast line.
just happened to end up.
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Just walk not
Yeah,
too
yeah.
closely behind him.
Yeah.
And followed him. No, I'm just kidding.
But actually, he had an earpiece in his ear, and he was, and I could tell he was talking to somebody about probably the upcoming show, and I thought he was done, and so I started talking to him, and he was still on the phone, and so he was like, oh, I'm on the phone. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, and then afterwards he was very nice though, and I said, your podcast had a huge influence on me. Thanks so much, and. So it was a pretty cool moment. But those are definitely my two of my favorites. I also listen to right now. I've been kind of, not getting into politics, but the sort of current political landscape, love it, hate it, whatever, is fascinating.
It's fascinating.
So I listen every morning. I listen to the New York Times has a podcast called The Daily, and every morning it's a 20-minute roundup of sort of what they think is most important that day in the news.
Yeah.
And so I've been listening to that. Music, I am obsessed right now with the new Run the Jewels album, the Run the Jewels 3.
Nice. Are you a vinyl guy? Are you a vinyl guy?
No, this is just,
Okay.
but I am obsessed with this album. I have been sort of listening to it nonstop. God, if I have a chance, they're not coming anywhere. They're coming to, or they were in Charlotte. I can't get there. But anyway, amazing. What else am I listening to right now? I have been listening to a little bit because Lynchstock is coming up. I've been listening to some Dawes just because they're coming, so it's been sort of on the playlist. And I'll go ahead and keep the plug of Lynchstock going. And I'm listening to some Odyssey right now too because his new album just came out.
I'm not sure I'm familiar with Odyssey.
So Odyssey is a hip-hop MC artist out of DC. And I was really excited about him ending up in the Lynchstock this year because I had already been listening to him. And normally Lynchstock will bring folks in. I'm getting a bit older. So I'll be like, I don't really know who that is, but I'll try to figure it out. But Odyssey, I actually know who this is. I think he's come out. He's got about 4 albums. He has 1 instrumental album. I kind of like him because as being a child of the '90s, his stuff kind of harkens back to an old kind of Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul.
Oh, okay.
Kind of sound.
Yeah.
What
are you currently reading that's kind of captured your attention?
Yeah, so right now I'm reading an Adam Grant book. It's called Give and Take. Adam Grant, I think he's a professor at UPenn, I think. Anyway, it's a book about organizations. Sort of 3 different types of people. It's one of these books. We all know these books, but they categorize people and fit into some sort of box. But essentially, there are 3 types of people. They're givers, they're takers, and then they're matchers.
Wow.
And you sort of fall into one of those. And givers tend to just simply give of themselves. And they don't really they have a really hard time kind of taking anything. They often get kind of taken advantage of. Takers are what it sounds like. They just take. And then matchers tend to be folks that are kind of eye for an eye folks. They believe like, if you do something for me, I'll do something for you. And that's the way the world should work. And,
right.
And it basically talks about it on an organizational level. So how you have those people in your organization, like on your staff, and how there's a balance act of handling those different personalities.
All right, so in the same vein, favorite movie?
Boy, oh man, it's tough. I think I've got to break it up by genre. But you know one of my favorite movies of all time is Aliens.
Oh yeah.
It's like one of my favorite movies of all time.
There's another one coming out.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about it.
Aren't you stoked? I can tell you're.
Dude, man, it's the best.
I mean, it's James Cameron. He took the second one too. I'm talking about Aliens, not Alien. They take it up a notch.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite movies.
Is this the one from like 90s?
The 80s.
Yeah, 80s,
Yeah.
like late
No,
80s.
you're talking about like the Alien series,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
like Aliens.
I'm talking about Aliens, the second movie.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's Aliens, and then Alien 3. But Aliens is like, it's And basically the goal of Aliens was Alien was a good movie. But then James Cameron was like, okay, we're going to take that movie and we're just going to put it on steroids.
Yeah.
So it's going to be more aliens, more guns,
more explosions,
more everything.
more
Is this
blood,
where they're actually on
more
the
acid
plane?
blood.
Yeah,
And then it's,
Yeah.
Aliens on a plane is really where it ends. Like they're all on a
It's
plane,
just- it's
they're
just
headed to
total
Hawaii
chaos.
just for a vacation.
Yeah.
and it's total
NBDs,
shit.
you know? It's just-
What's the best advice you've ever received?
on the spot.
Man, so well, this is arts related. So I had kind of a turning point moment in my life when I was younger. I'll try to abbreviate the story as much as I possibly can because it's kind of a long story, but I'll make it tight. So I used to lifeguard at Miller Park Pool in the
Shout out
in the
Miller Park
summers.
Pool.
Yeah,
A lot of people watching this will be big fans of,
Yeah,
of
so,
that.
so I would lifeguard there in the summers, and we had a near drowning. We had a young girl. I think she was about 10 years old. Technically, she did drown. She lived, but she and I dove in and I pulled her out. CPR was administered by our head guard, and paramedics came in. She was flown to UVA. She lived. Everything was fine. But in that moment, I was studying to be an actor in this conservatory in Philadelphia, and I was sort of surrounded by all these like really selfish people. Ultimately, actors tend to be, forgive me, any actors, but they're kind of self-absorbed people. Not always, but very often, because they're it's kind of inherent. And I was sort of like, what am I doing with my life? Like, I just watched this girl get saved, and I'm off, pretending to be other people. What is this? And I went back to school my final year in Philly, and I was like, well, maybe I want to be a paramedic. Maybe I want to do something like that. And I had a teacher there at UArts who told me that she said, well, if the paramedic's job there was to bring that girl back to life, your job as an artist is to make her life worth living. Right? And so I think that moment was like a life-changing statement to me, because from then on it was like, I can dedicate my life to providing joy and engagement for people moving forward, and it's been kind of powerful coming back to Lynchburg now in my life, where I don't know, she's now probably 30 years old, that little girl. And I don't know, I'm going to assume she's somewhere here in Lynchburg, but it's an interesting sort of thing as I'm running this arts organization in the city to kind of think about very often about like, what are we doing to like help that girl, right? What are we doing to make her life something that's, and so I think for me that's definitely, I think, probably the best advice as an artist or as an arts administrator.
That's powerful, man. That's
deep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we could find some way to connect you guys over.
I've thought about it times, like, but I don't know. It's felt weird though too, because I don't know, what that process would be and what would happen. But I would love actually to find out.
Who knows? Maybe, I don't know. I mean, you don't hear stories like that very often. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Well, to bring it a little bit lighthearted and to round it out, if you were to walk out of here, after all said and done, you walk out of here and find a lottery ticket, boom, you hit it big. What would you do?
Man, what would I do?
We always say, everyone in the restaurant, you gotta buy a round.
Yeah, we gotta buy a round.
Okay, so I definitely buy a round. I definitely buy a round. This is going to be kind of broad, and I probably have to really spend more time kind of thinking about it, but I really do believe in that kind of philosophy that, there's a certain amount of money that you kind of need to be happy. Sure. And I feel like in my life I'm really fortunate. I'm comfortable. I'm not wealthy, but I'm fine. I think I would want to do. I don't know. I think I want to build something that was going to be of community value. And that may sound like I'm sort of, I don't know, playing to the camera here a little bit, but I really do believe that.
No, what I'm hearing you say is something along the lines of legacy, and I think life is short, and you want to believe that at some level you've made an impact, whether it's for the people that you're sitting beside today or that surround you in your personal life or your professional life, and so impact and legacy and those things kind of add up.
I'd say I am worried about I'm worried about the 25% poverty level in our city. Like that really concerns me. I don't know if there's something that we could do about that. Something we could do to address that. It'd be cool too if we had a permanent pavilion concert venue out here. It would be pretty cool too. Maybe we could build that and But yeah, and I probably would travel a bunch too.
Yeah.
I probably would
More experiences.
I probably want to go see the world. I want to travel to parts of Asia that I didn't even know existed, and I'd want to, go to, far reaches of the world, and if it was enough money, maybe go to space.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think in a couple of years you might actually have that opportunity.
Yeah. But that's what I would want to do on like
an app. Yeah. Come pick you up.
just yeah, like
Yeah.
Hey, Elon.
I'm just gonna
come pick
Uber
me
out
up.
of here.
Yeah.
Vitamin's coming. Yeah.
Well, it sounds to me that you've got yourself in order and you got a lot figured out. I'm sure you've got a good journey ahead of you, and it also sounds like you've surrounded yourself, whether personally or professionally, with the right group of people. And I'm smiling because I get to see you work. I get to see what happens, with lunch stock and how you interact with the community, and with bringing P-Funk
Yeah, man.
to the city and Blues Traveler. Come on, who doesn't want to just pretend like they're playing? Come on. So I'm grateful. I'm humbled at the fact that you've come here today to spend some time with us, and I'm excited to see where you guys go.
Thanks, man. I'm excited to reconnect too, man. Like
We're starting a league Sunday, just letting you know.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I want to play again.
Yeah.
It's
I
been so
think you got your
hard,
hands
man.
full, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Speaking of which, last time I saw George Clinton was with Wiley Kershner and,
Oh my
and
God.
Gabe Jaffe and Dan Gallagher, from soccer
Jesus,
days.
yeah.
We saw him in Smoking Grooves back. I think it was in the late '90s in college.
That is.
These are all guys that they have played soccer.
Yeah.
And I'll get after we're done with this. I'll catch you up where they are these days.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, so last question. Fill in the blank. I'd love to see blank answer these same questions.
Oh man. You know who I am a huge fan of here in Lynchburg is Sackett Wood. I want to see Sackett Wood come in here and answer this question. So Sackett is the president of Moore and Giles, the leather company here in town. And a lot of people, George Dawson's an amazing guy, and a lot of people who've been following our capital campaign know about George, and George is amazing. But a lot of people don't know, Sackett's our board president, and a lot of people don't know how important Sackett has been to that theater project happening, to the organization turning around. As a board president, he has given me so much freedom to take risks, to kind of step outside the box and do things. He totally has turned that sort of Moore and Giles company around years ago. He's an amazing guy, and I think you got to get him in here for a beer and talk to him.
Sackett, love to have you here, buddy.
Call him out.
Yeah.
Sackett Wood.
Well, I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you for the beer. This is
I
Easter basket, man. This is fantastic.
hope you've enjoyed it. Shout out to Champion.
Yeah.
And cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, guys. Cheers to Lynchburg.
Cheers, Lynchburg.